Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Nexo Knights Infernox Captures the Queen set. This is set number 70325. It has 253 pieces and I paid $40 for this set. This is a retired set. I think all of the Nexo Knights have been out of production for a while. It was not a set that I collected at the time it was being produced, and it's not one that I see around too often, but I was interested in this, especially after looking at some recent like Chima sets, and when I got into Hidden Side and other kind of themes that have gone away. I recently looked at some Atlantis and tons of other stuff. I just was interested when I saw this. This is something that I picked up at a brick convention. The price that they had it at was $50, and I sort of tried to negotiate a little bit, and thankfully they were willing to work with me a little bit on the price. I kind of checked what the aftermarket price was for this set in particular, and I felt like it was fair, so I ended up paying $40 for this. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to look at this. Look at, like, it has some cool pieces and some nice stuff, and it's different from a lot of the other things I look at, so that's really neat. So in this video I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Nexo Knights Infernox Captures the Queen set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the help getting there. It means a lot to me. And then I wanted to talk about the build a little bit here. So we start off with some minifigures, which are really interesting. I'll go into them a lot in the full review. And then we build this super cool kind of cyber fantasy steampunk kind of horse hovercraft thing that I am in love with. And then we can start working on kind of the body for the buildable character that is this Infernox here. So we start out building kind of like the chest and torso area, and there's some like kind of bionicle type pieces in here and some other nice little stuff that goes into this. Kind of have the chest area there, and you can see kind of the makings of what it's going to be, almost like a mech but kind of more of a buildable character. We have those nice translucent orange pieces in there, and this ends up looking really cool. So we work on putting like the head together, then we add some stuff for the legs, work on the feet, and after the feet are done we will move on to kind of this the groin area, and then onto the arms as well. And the arms use these big kind of spiky pieces which are super cool, and we will build out the arms and the hands, and we build out a little accessory, and then that's everything in this set. So I liked this probably a lot more than I thought I was going to. This was really cool, and I want to get more Nexo Knights. So now onto my review for this set. Okay, so here we have this Lego Nexo Knights Infernox Captures the Queen set here. This is my first ever Nexo Knights set, and you know, before I just get into my overall thoughts about it, it has me very interested in looking at some other Nexo Knight sets in the near future, because I thought this was very cool. I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it looks great, so I'm very impressed. And we will get right into this so that we can get through everything I want to talk about. And the first thing we will look at are the minifigures. You get 2 minifigures in this set. The first one we will look at is this character, which I believe their name is Aaron or Aaron with 2 A's. This is super cool. So I don't know exactly what the theme of Nexo Knights is. What it appears to me is kind of like a cross between almost like cyberpunk, fantasy, like knights, castle stuff, but also not cyberpunk, maybe like steampunk, but like castle stuff, like knights and horses, but also having kind of a sci-fi element to it that I'll kind of talk about. So we have this interesting little knight here. Aaron is the character, and we kind of have a this is a helmet piece that they use sometimes for like space characters or pilots, but then the visor is kind of like the knight visor here with some grooves in there, but we also have an antenna over there. So that's two pieces, kind of a cool helmet combination to get that. So it's kind of got this fantasy knights, swords and shields kind of thing, but also kind of has a science fiction bend as well. Underneath there we can see Aaron's face. It's a pretty standard minifigure face, but it's good. It has a little bit of extra detail. We got the eyebrows up there. We do have an alternate face of Aaron looking much happier, so that is good to see. We have this very cool shoulder piece and armor. It's dual molded with that translucent kind of on the shoulders. I will take this off so we can see it. There's also a cutout at the front here, which shows some of the printing through the minifigure there, which is nice. A couple studs on the back there. Really cool accessory. I like that a lot. I don't know if they make as many of those kind of things anymore. And then we can see the rest of the figure here has kind of knight's armor, but it feels a little more space, a little more science fiction-y to me. We have what looks to be like a fox head, which I don't know if maybe the Nexo Knights had some like theming that was similar to Lego Castle stuff, where they had the wolf heads or the fox heads and the, or, you know, all the different kind of factions there, or like the Lion Knights Castle more recently. But this is very cool. It's kind of on this sort of gray or silvery, metallic silver, platinum looking kind of torso. Really good printing in there. Lots of fine details. There's kind of a grid over on the side, like a little mesh over here. So that's really cool. This part up at the chest into the, like the collar, the neck area is what is shown through on the kind of pauldron there, which is great. We do have printing on the midsection, and then we have printing down to the legs here, printing at the top, in the middle, down to the feet, which is good. No printing on the arms. Back of the torso is really cool, very detailed, and it has kind of the back of the armor here. So this is really cool. I was happy to see this figure in here. Pretty impressed with it, and I have said this before, especially when I've been looking at Chima sets and Dream sets and Ninjago sets. When Lego does minifigures for their own properties, sometimes they come out very detailed and very advanced. So this minifigure also has some accessories here, and I'll show those so we can take a look at them. But there's some different stuff here. So here's him with the accessories. So we have the shield piece. This is actually two pieces. It's a Nexo Knight shield that is printed, that is on a piece like this. This is a piece I haven't seen before. Nexo Knight shields have been used in many versions and iterations and colors by now, but I believe Nexo Knights is the origin of those, and I've for a long time has just referred to them as Nexo Knight shields, even though I never like did Nexo Knights things. So I think they refer to these as Nexo powers. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. If you can explain it to me, let me know in the comments below. It is appreciated. And that means that we can swap this out. You could pop this off, and we have another one here that's a different color, has a different kind of print on it. It's kind of this dragon thing there. So you get two of those. Those are apparently the Nexo powers. I think this piece is really cool. You have studs up at the top, hollow studs that you could put stuff on. And then the other accessory here is this. It has this old kind of style of stud shooter. It's not a stud shooter though, and it's a kind of accessory that I don't think I've really seen before. We do add some hollow studs on the side and these big flame pieces. I think that's cool. It almost looks like a fire bow and arrow or crossbow or something, which I think is really, really neat. This does have the old style trigger. It has a bar element here, but what it actually shoots is kind of like miniature bolts here. I think these were an eyepiece for something in maybe in Bionicle or something like that, but I'm not positive, but it fires one of these. So the actual piece that is in the middle here, which allows for that to happen, is one that I have not seen before, but it works pretty great. Here it is without the kind of bolt in there. And I was pleasantly surprised by that. It can be held kind of like this. The shield might get in the way. Some of the other armor might get in the way. It could also be held kind of more vertically like that, but then it's at an interesting angle. That might not be perfect, but that's very, very cool. And then you do get another minifigure. And this one is Queen Halbert here. And I don't know the kind of relation to anything else, but this is a queen character, so we can take a look at that. And the hairpiece is very cool, kind of has some like braids and some buns around the back, a nice cloth cape here. Face is good, some nice detail, maybe some freckles and some other lines there. This character has an alternate face in which they are much more angry, and that's fine. Looking at the torso, very, very good. Nice detail here, suggestion of like hips and waist with the necklace, the pattern for the dress. There's no midsection on this one because it's not minifigure legs, and they don't use like the more modern kind of skirt piece that has a curve here. They just use this sloped brick, but we do have the printing on that. Again, very nice quality printing here. Really cool looking piece. It would have been great if this was on one of the slope pieces or had printing on the back, but it does not. And then we can see the back of the torso here has this kind of printing going on as well. There's not really accessories for this character, but that's okay. And I think this is a well-made minifigure as well, and I'm kind of happy about getting that. So those are the minifigures, some of the accessories here. And then we can look at the rest of the set. I'm actually going to set this aside because the next thing we will look at is kind of a side build, but it's also the thing you build first, if I remember correctly. And so we will take a look at this. And this is another reason why I feel like it's kind of got this interesting kind of sci-fi but also fantasy kind of deal here, because this is the side build that Aaron can ride on. So to me, it looks very much like a horse, but like a horse robot hovercraft kind of thing. And I don't need to get both hands in there, but I think this looks like a horse, like maybe a knight that would ride a horse with like armor on it and different stuff like that. And it's got, the bigger bulky body. It's got, doesn't have legs, and then maybe the hind end, it kind of sits on here like a saddle. It sits on here like a horse, but then we have like a thruster back here, and it's like a horse shape, but it hovers. That's something I really, really appreciate. This kind of design is something that's like not really practical in any real sense. It's like total fantasy, total imagination that I really appreciate, because if they had horses to model this after, they could just ride horses, or if they never had horses, why would it look like this? There's certain elements of this that if they can make a hovercraft, there's not necessarily a need for it to look like a horse. And I think that's very, very fun and very cool. And I think that works really well in this whole kind of setup. So I do really, really like that. And the build for this is interesting. So we start out with a little bit of Technic and the kind of axle hole with the bar element there. You can attach like a wheel rim in here and a kind of thruster piece. Build out the side using some brackets, some studs on the side stuff. We have nice use of color. There are stickers in this set, so I will grab those. There's only 3, and 2 of them are used here, so kind of right here on this slope, that silver one, and then on this slope at the front, kind of that one with the different colors there. I like the use of the translucent orange. It matches kind of the armor here as well as some of the accessories. This is really nicely done. Overall, I think the shape of this is really, really cool. It can sit down like that flat. It's super swooshable. The piece that the character sits on here is like a motorcycle piece or a bike piece, but it's one that I'm not really familiar with. And let's see, I can take this off here because it doesn't have like places for wheels to go at all. So I'm thinking this is just something that was specifically made for Nexo Knights, which is really interesting. It's my first time seeing that, but that kind of clips on here, and that's where the character can kind of sit, and it totally adds to the hoarseness of everything and like a saddle area and stuff like that. So I think that's very, very cool and good to get. We do have these handles that can move a little bit here, up and down like so, and so the character can hold them. The head is clipped on there. Same here. We actually use one of the like a blue droid body thing there, and then we clip this on the front of it, so you can kind of curl this around if wanted to, or kind of have it more out like this. We use these clips for the side where maybe it's like some ears or some different stuff. And then we have these clips on the side, and those can be used for the accessories, which is something I always appreciate for Lego sets, Lego vehicles, to have spots for the characters to put their accessories. So, and I think that looks really cool there. So we can clip on the kind of shields on the side. You can also clip on the bow or the kind of thing here to fire out the small little bolt there. So you can clip that on the side. Some of the official images show the character holding this while they're riding this thing, and that's fine too, but I do love having those spots there, and they don't make the design feel really weird. It kind of feels like they're meant to be there. It also reminds me very much of like knights when they would ride on their horses. They might have places to put a sword or a bow or a shield so that they're not holding on to it when they are riding the horse. And so I think that's really, really great. I think it looks super cool. It's like a really nice mix. I was pleasantly surprised with this, and this is just the side build. So now we can look over at the main build, and I believe this is a character and not a mech, and I believe this is Infernox here. And so it appears that this is maybe one of the antagonist characters. The set is called Infernox Captures the Queen, and actually, let me make sure. One of the interesting things about this, like some of the Chima sets, is that it does have some information here about different characters, and there's some really cool stuff. I would love to get this character, Axel, here. Clay has a really cool sword there. Some of these little robots look very cool. All the ultimate characters, Ultimate Aaron has like a different bow-like thing. More bolt shooters there. These look very, very cool. And then we have over here Sparks, which kind of looks like a mech, but it's like a buildable character. We have Jestro, Book of Monsters, Moltar, Beastmaster, Crust Smasher, Ash Attacker, Flamethrower, and Scurrier, as well as the Ultimate Beastmaster and Ultimate Lavaria. So very, very cool. I think these are, again, kind of the antagonists like with Chima, and these are maybe more of the good guys, but it could be whatever. I'm not really sure. We can see here a huge extension of all of the different kind of sets. So we get this like kind of vehicle that looks like a sword. We get a castle that has these big treads on it, which reminds me of like, what is that? Like Mortal Engines, and that has a similar thing. And so we have all of this kind of sci-fi, fantasy, different stuff here. I actually don't see the set of Infernox in here, but we can see where it has things that are similar to it over there, which is really cool. I'm interested in a bunch of these, so hopefully I will be able to hunt some of these down and get them. But anyway, we will look more at the extras here, And this is super cool. So it's built similar to a mech. And in that way, one of the things, I think it's actually the last thing you build, but one of the things you build is this big, like, hammer looking thing. So we have these kind of smaller rock pieces with that stuff molded in. And we have kind of an axle and different technic pieces here. And then we have a stud that goes into the, or it's not a stud, we have a pin that goes into the pinhole on either of the hands, which feels similar to some of the like Ninjago mechs that came out this year in 2024. They all had their accessories and could swap them between hands and swap them to other characters there. But this isn't only a hammer with these teeth here. It also has kind of another function, which is a projectile. So it has one of the disc tile kind of shooters there. And this is really, really cool because the tiles are printed with this like little face, which looks really, really funny. It's kind of like an evil face, goofy, the eyes all weird. So I don't know if these projectiles are actually like sentient beings necessarily, but it kind of seems that way to me. So we can see that here. And actually the picture I was just looking at the rear kind of has a similar thing over here on these dome elements, which makes me believe that, forgive me, let me get a drink here, which makes me believe that this faction might have some stuff like that it's kind of like living projectiles, maybe like this little guy down here, or like the scurrier or something like that. Maybe it's like a molten kind of thing. Even on like this sort of mace type thing, there's a little face on there. So that's very, very interesting to me. Very, very cool, creepy and weird. So you get two of these printed tiles, which are very neat. And I actually like, sometimes these kind of disc shooters I don't like very much if you have to use your finger to push it out. They have this very, very simple mechanism here to fire those off. And I think that works a lot better than just like doing it with my hand. So very cool to see that. And then we have the Infernox character here. So the first thing you build is sort of the torso area and starting up at the top kind of around the shoulders. It's built on a kind of a plate with Technic holes through it. There is Technic and Bionicle stuff used in here. So that's really cool. The main base doesn't have a ton. It actually has some just bricks in here. I think there's an axle going through them. We also use some of these Technic pieces to kind of keep those bricks together, some rigidity there. We build up, we add some of the like big ball joints here, like Bionicle type joints. We have some different brackets to have some colors. We have these like big claws up here, which I really, really like. You build the head, and then the head is actually on one of these like hinges with the Technic type pieces there with the pin in between, so the head can open and close. I like the use of this like wheel well, or this fender rather, here for the inside of the mouth is really cool. We also use this nice pointed piece, and then the eyes and face and mouth here is actually on a hinge plate there, and that creates a really, really nice angle. So we have the hinge plate under here, and then they're clipped on to these modified plates with the bar element. So that's very cool. We also add on these pieces, which are dual molded with the like translucent orange. It's actually the same piece as this, but then they also have this black on them. And I don't believe the black is printed. I guess it could be printed. Or, yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, okay. Not dual molded, but we have this black printing on some of the elements, but like not down in the different cracks and stuff like that. So that's really, really cool to see that. And we have the teeth up there as well. And then we have the ability to open those up. So if we open that up, open the mouth up, Infernox kind of has a cage in here that they can lock someone in. This is Infernox captures the queen. So conveniently, the queen doesn't stud down, but fits right down in there, and then can be closed up here. And it's not like she's piloting this thing. It's not like a mech, although if they did do more mechs like this, where the like cockpit area where the minifigure goes is actually like pretty well protected and stuff, I would think that's cool. I mean, it's better protected than a lot of the Ninjago mechs or the Marvel mechs where the character's head just sticks out of the top. So this is really, really neat. Easy to get them in there, easy to get them out of there. You can see the kind of connection we did there. We do have this stuff on the front, which helps here. We have like that tulip piece, and that's where another sticker is there, and a Nexonite shield kind of with the lava breaking through. We add the legs. The legs are super simple. They're on the bigger ball joints. Just have a receiving end brick and then a the opposite of a receiving end brick here with the ball joint. We add a little round jumper 2x2 with a pointed pyramid translucent piece there. Loved how the feet were done here. So we have the receiving end brick. We have one of these inverted kind of slope pieces there. Then on the top, we have another one of these kind of clear pieces, the rock-like pieces, and we add some of these cones there. So we have a really nice surface on the bottom for this to stand. Those are pretty stable there, which I appreciate. We do have like hips and knees, so this can go like that. It can spread its legs out far, and because it's the ball joints, they have a good amount of friction in them, and this feels pretty stable. There's not hip rotation, but like we can certainly bend up and down, which is good. And then also looking at the back, one of the last things you add is this tail. This is a piece that I haven't seen, or at least not in a really long time. It's attached with a ratchet clip here. Potentially the tail could be used to help balance. I'm not sure how good it would be, but I think the legs are substantial enough to make that work on their own, and I really, really like that it has knees. It can't like spin at the waist at all, but that's okay. And then we look at the arms, and there's another piece up here that I did not know about, but these use like the brick with the ball joint piece on either end, and then we have kind of a way we build these upside down, so to speak. So let me pull this out. We can see the bottom of a tile here with the Technic pinhole or axle hole, and then we have these big kind of like flail, the end of a flail, like these ball, like spiky ball elements here in the translucent orange, which is very, very cool. And those kind of serve as like a pauldron, but also like, or like armor, but also just like exploding lava out through here or something like that, and over on the other side as well. And we do have the shoulder ball joint. We also kind of have an elbow or a wrist there. The hands are very cool, similar to some of the stuff down here, but nice use of color. And then we have these claws for 3 hands, and they do these hands kind of like some other mech hands or mech figures or different things, and I think that's really cool. We can attach the hammer tile shooter thing on either hand, and the arms are identical, but flipped a little bit. We can see how they have the clip over on this side and on this side, so you could switch those around however you like, and there's a good amount of articulation with the arms as well, and the fingers here, so you can get this into all sorts of little kind of ways. So you can configure this however you like, all different poses and stances and stuff here, which is very, very cool. So you can get like a big T pose there. These kind of pieces up here could be like barbs. They almost look like pincers on a scorpion, or on the head of an earwig or something like that. We also have we could like raise those up so they're more like horns, which is very neat. Oops, we lost a little bit there. And that's kind of everything here. We do have a little bit of like exposed Technic, so it does have that feel to it, but it also, it kind of has this interesting feel of like semi-organic, semi-mechanical. So I don't know if this is a robot, if this is just a lava creature, or if it's some kind of combination of the two of them. And I think that's really interesting and cool. So I don't mind some of the exposed stuff that's in here because it adds to it, like this horse or something like that, or having the kind of sci-fi knights in armor kind of thing, having the castle on these big tank treads. So it totally works for me. And I think that's really, really great. So I can attach the kind of thing here. You know, theoretically, this character has, whoopsies, the hand fell apart. How does it go together? I think like that. Yeah. So we can kind of curl the fingers around there a little bit. In order for this to like function, like the big figure like me would want to be the one kind of activating that, and so it doesn't have like a real, I don't think, in-universe way for this character to be able to push the mechanism in on that, but it has a good amount of range of motion to be able to like position it, and I can fire it at Aaron over there, which is very cool. And this is also like freestanding. If we're going to do this, I would suggest holding on to the rest of the body as well. And I think that's everything in this set. I think this is really, really cool. It reminds me of stuff from other sets, but this is an interesting theme. It's also so interesting to come back to these themes. I had a period of time where I was going back and looking at a bunch of Hidden Side. I have more Hidden Side to look at. I really loved going and seeing all the Lego Batman movie sets, all the different vehicles. I've been looking at some Chima recently. Now I got to look at some Nexo Knights, and I plan on looking at more because I really, really like them. And I'll show the extra pieces because we do get some. I'm actually not sure. This is an extra piece. It could be a projectile or not. And so there's not a great place to store that, just as there's not a great place to store the extra of the kind of discs with the face there. But you do get that. You get kind of the extra Nexo Knight shield with the printing there as well. And then we have all these extra pieces like the trigger mechanism, the orange translucent clip, the pyramid piece, the flame piece, your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles, your slopes, your pins, all of that good stuff in there, which is nice. And this set is 253 pieces, and I paid $40 for this set. It was listed at $50. This set is from, I think, 2016, so not quite 10 years old yet, but getting there. And it was, I think, like Brick Set says it was limited available. It was an exclusive release in some countries, but also you could maybe get it from Lego Shop at Home, which is true for a lot of stuff. And there are 2 minifigures, and I think they're unique to this set in this configuration, which is neat. And it retailed back in 2016 for $25 US, 25 euros, 20 pounds UK. And that feels very fair. I mean, 253 pieces, some specialized pieces, some prints, some different stuff here. That feels like really, really good, actually. After it's retired, I think, I don't know. I think on Bricklink they probably go for 50, 45, and on other places maybe $45, $50. I paid $40. That feels about right. It was sealed. Everything was in here. It was in good condition. It was the only Nexo Knight set that I bought, and the reason I got it for a deal was because I asked the booth at the convention I was at, and the guy said if I like paid with cash, for example, he would knock off a little bit of a deal there. So $10 off is about 20% off the price he had listed at, and so still very, very cool. I am thrilled about this. It's a really, really competent, nicely designed, good looking side build vehicle with tons of cool little little aspects to it. A really cool buildable character here in Infernox, 2 detailed minifigures, some other printed pieces, pieces I hadn't seen, only 3 stickers, but not a big deal for that at all. And so I feel like I got a fair deal. I would have loved to have purchased this for $25. That would have been really, really great, because we also have like big pieces in here, specialized pieces. You know, these ones with the printing are different from like these ones here, and we also have this color up here. So different pieces, big pieces, a lot of these big ball joint pieces, specialized kind of saddle horse-like piece there. So tons of cool stuff. These big pieces, the translucent orange. So I feel like I got a fair value. Does it feel like I have $40 worth of Lego here? You know, almost. I mean, the Lego Ninjago mechs that have been coming out that were retailing for about $20 were a similar size to this one, maybe a minifigure or two. Didn't have like the side builds necessarily, and yeah, those were $20. But this is coming up on 10 years old in a while here, and you know, so I don't mind having to pay a little more for that. I would love to not have to, but that's just not the way it works when Lego is releasing new things and retiring them and no longer producing them, and Nexo Knights is kind of one of those themes. So there's tons of other sets I'm interested in getting from the Nexo Knights, and hopefully I can hunt some of those down. But I didn't even know I was going to get into this, but I saw it at the convention place. It was one of the few Nexo Knight sets that I saw. There wasn't a ton of like Chima sets that I saw there. There wasn't a ton of Hidden Side. I did see the Hidden Side train there, but we couldn't come to an agreement on a price, and so that's one that's still not in my collection, but very, very cool here. Really, really loved this. So that's great. I'm excited to have another theme to be interested in here. Very, very cool. So nice. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. And if you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including hopefully more Nexo Knights and tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming Lego videos. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate all the help. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing it. It means a lot to me, so thank you very much. And if you wanted to support this channel, support my videos here, you can do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. And I have the Patreon. It's in the video description. It's on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks. Maybe consider checking those things out. Again, it does help me very, very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.